All right.
You're all right.
Yeah.
You got this.
All right. I met George in high school, obviously. We started off, right off the bat, telling the biggest whopper lies there was to each other one night. I think we had everybody else believing us except for each other. How we became such good friends is, I think the next day before football practice, he was just like, "You didn't really get to do that, did you?" I'm like, "No, did you?" "No." "Don't tell anybody." Okay, so, and we all know George. Uncle George, Daddy, brother. He loved everyone in this room, and we all loved him. We can agree to that, right?
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes, cheers.
I left. I moved to Florida. I thought, okay, I'll keep in contact with him. George was the first one to reach out and go, "Johnny, what are you doing?" There would be years where we'd only talk twice a year. But you know how much you love somebody when you can just pick up where you left off. It's just like, "Hey, what's happening? Oh, you went to the BBIs? Hey, you gotta check this out. My buddy Kevin, holy cow, this trip is just insane. You gotta do it." Yeah, it was just, that's George. George lived for adventures. He learned that by his dad passing away too soon. The only thing I will say before I have a message for his kids is that George lived life 10 times more than anyone else in this room. And he did it, well, one, he was stubborn. It was George's way, just a little. But I'll tell you what, I can count. No, I can't, actually, there's too many times. There are so many times that I never wanted to do some of the things George made me do. Right? I mean, you gotta admit it. But you had a blast when it was done. There's a story, and I've told it to Mom and my sisters and some others, where, George almost got me electrocuted. And even until he couldn't talk at me with all of that, I learned. I did. George didn't, but I did. I made sure that George knew every time, "Okay, man, I really don't want to do this." And he goes, "Yeah, but we're going to do it." I'm like, "Okay, all right. We're going to have a blast." I loved him as much as anyone could love another person. The world's a little sadder. It really is. And I got to get through this. But, all right, George, stop laughing.
You got this.
All right.
You got it.
He made me promise. And I don't break promises. Your daddy never did. I'll be there for you. Thick or thin. Do you realize I broke my arm one time, got ran over by a car, another. Right. If you don't know, don't hold it against me, I was a police officer, okay? But every time, and even when I told my wife, your Aunt Cindy, do not call George. Why? He's on the next plane. He's there, and I'm like, "What are you doing here? You can't do anything." "No, I gotta make sure you're okay." I make that promise to you. You may think I'm a pain in the butt. I didn't have a lot of opportunities to be with you when you were younger because I lived so far away and I was working. Well, George made sure too. I'm retired now, so. Justin and I, for the longest time, anyone here that had ever got to drinking with George, which is everybody, even the little ones, I'm sure. I'm sure you heard a story about my old buddy John, Justin, Eddie. Usually Eddie we were carrying Eddie out.
They're brothers.
Yes. Now, this was a private thing because George and I had a dream. One of many, but our biggest one was Grumpy Old Men. We wanted to grow old next to each other, pulling pranks. We loved those movies so much. Justin will agree, Ed, anyone that's been around us. whenever we got done or we raised a glass, and this is to George, we'd raise a glass to us and those like us. Damn to left. To George.
To George.
I love you guys. Justin.